All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. I'm going to be talking about how Sammy Hagar is throwing the gauntlet down. He's throwing one or maybe two of them. He threw one at David Lee Roth, and he's now throwing one at Alex Van Halen. Actually, it's kind of the same gauntlet, but the reason I say this is he's challenging them to show up next year for this monumental tour. All right, before I get to the details, please check out Station or Station NYC. They are a really good band. The reason I'm showcasing this is because they sound like Van Halen. This is a true, like, next generation Van Halen sounding band. This album is called Stained Glass. These guys are from New York City. They typically hang around with another band called Tempt, and Tempt is kind of more like Def Leppard-like, and these guys are more Van Halen. So you can't really go wrong if you like the sound of Van Halen. The singer is great. The music is original, and it's hook-filled, melodic, big guitar riffs, all the stuff that I listened to back in the day, back when we were all younger and most likely in better physical condition. In any event, check out Station. They're good. All right? Just putting it out there. So, yeah, Sammy Hagar, I didn't watch the Howard Stern thing. I don't like Stern. But, he is a good promotional vehicle if you want to put something out there, and he's happy to talk to Sammy because Sammy just Sammy will tell everything. Sammy does not hold back. So on this episode where Sammy made the announcement, which was a wise idea, that he and you've got Joe Satriani, you've got Jason Bonham, and you've got Michael Anthony. All right, and this is going to be a big deal next year. You had Jason Bonham, who can pretty much play anything, and you have Joe Satriani filling a void, and he's probably the best candidate to do it. And Michael Anthony, who, again, still sings all of those high harmonies, and he can sing all the Roth stuff, right? But and I've said this in videos, and I got kind of beat up here and there by certain people who would troll me on this, and they would say, stop talking about this. There won't be a Van Halen reunion. Now, technically, this is not a Van Halen reunion. But when you put out, a poster or a meme and it's got the VH logo and it's got Sammy Hagar, most people are just going to say, yeah, it's close enough. It's close enough. Does the brand matter? Of course it matters. And Alex owns the brand, or Wolfie owns the brand. I think it's more in the hands of Alex than anyone else. I don't think Dave has much to do with this. Maybe he does. Maybe he signed some paperwork there at the end. I don't know. But the cool thing is Sammy decided to go ahead and do this, which I think it's long overdue. Anyone you talk to will say this should have happened at least 2 years ago, right? And it didn't. And Taylor Hawkins had 2 tributes, and Eddie Van Halen had 0. So now you've got a tour. The one thing I'm not hearing a lot about, though, is the Eddie tribute part of this show. I hear a lot about, hey, we're going to be playing the music of Van Halen, but let's hear some more about how we're going to pay tribute to Eddie Van Halen. Now, Sammy Hagar has said that when they go to different towns, and I'm pretty sure if you go back and watch some of my older videos, I talked about how you might want to do different guitar players, bring different people in. This is what Sammy Hagar is suggesting. So he's clearly watching me. He's probably not. But the point is, I said, maybe these shoes are just too big to fill. I think Satriani is a great choice. But you could have Steve Vai, you could have Joe Bonamassa, you could have Steve Lukather, you could have Neil Schon. There are a number of people, I think, who would love to get on stage and just jam out. And this makes the tour even better. because even though this isn't Van Halen, right, and no one's calling it Van Halen, it's as close as you're going to get. And the best way to pay tribute to Ed is to bring up the most talented people you've got left out there. Maybe some up and coming players that we don't know about could hang out there with Joe, and we could see some jamming back and forth. I thought of Don Felder, who isn't getting to hang out with the Eagles, and I know Don and Sammy are close. They're good buddies. So that would be, I'd love to see that, man. I might have to get tickets for this. I've seen Chickenfoot. I've basically seen this band. Chad Smith instead of Jason Bonham, but I've seen this band, and this band is ruthless. It's a great band, and I know Sammy is a bit older, and hence this is why you've got Michael Anthony. So Sammy has thrown the gauntlet down at Alex Van Halen, and he's said, hey, if you want to be a part of this, give me a call, Al. It's an interesting little back and forth between Sammy and Al, where Sammy calls and Al doesn't call back. That's been the MO now for 5 years, according to Sammy Hagar. So the other thing is he's also challenged David Lee Roth to show up. Now, I don't think Roth is going to show up because he's going to get destroyed in the sense that musically at this stage, vocally, Dave just cannot do a whole lot. All right. And that's the truth. I mean, Dave's presence on stage. Now, this is kind of like getting two people together, like getting Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham on stage together. That would be very tense, but people would pay a lot of money to see that. People would also pay a lot of money to see Dave and Sammy on stage again, just to see what happens, just to see if they can coexist. And my guess is Dave wants none of it. Dave could have been the organizer here, but Sammy has been the greatest ambassador for rock and roll, especially this type of music, for probably, the last 20 or 30 years. He's been one of the great exporters of music and rock and roll culture and all of that stuff, the Cabo Wabo thing. Some of it's a little excessive, I'm not partying like it's 1999 anymore, but there are a lot of people who are. And so Sammy knows, hey, if he's got tequila and he puts his name on it, people are going to want to buy it. And so I think Sammy being kind of that great marketer, one of his best friends, he's had so many best friends, right? Jimmy Buffett, who recently passed away. I think he gets a lot of that from Jimmy. I think he understands, how to brand and how to get people excited about a product. Even in Jimmy's case, Jimmy only had like a couple of hit songs on the radio for most of his career, and he still managed to build a $1 billion empire. That's pretty impressive. So, will Dave show up? I'm saying Alex probably shows up before Dave, but because Alex has been portrayed now as somebody who's pumped the brakes on everything, or who just doesn't care or doesn't show up or is still grieving, which I get it. You lost your brother. You shouldn't have lost your brother at that stage of his life. That stinks. But why not go out and celebrate and play all this music and showcase how amazing your brother was? That's kind of boggled my mind. But this rotating different guitarists in different cities thing, this is good stuff. This is, because then you're going to buy tickets and maybe somebody's going to show up for this show and you're going to want to have your phone ready. And I'm not a big advocate of recording stuff at concerts, but, if Joe Bonamassa or Neil Sean or somebody shows up, Steve Lukather gets out there, you're just going to want to have this as a great memory, as something spectacular, which unfortunately probably will never happen again. So anyway, good for Sammy. It's an easy challenge, and he's putting it out there, and he makes these guys look really bad because Roth is just going to ignore this, and Imagine if Roth did show up, though. Again, you'd want to have your phone ready for that. And it would just, for Alex, it would be good to see Alex again. And Alex, from what I understand, can still play drums. So, give Jason Bonham a break up there. The other thing I noticed, one other part of this, is that Sammy didn't really say anything about Wolfgang. Now, Wolfie has been kind of back and forth on all of this stuff. He blames everybody in the Van Halen organization. I think Wolfie kind of owes Sammy an apology because I don't know. It just Sammy's been trying. He's been making public statements. Sammy knows people really high up the food chain. That's why Irving Azoff is involved in this, and this is going to be a big deal. So why not be a team player? You don't have to be in this band. You can still be your own person. I keep hearing about he needs to play his own music and he needs to define himself and he doesn't need to be attached to his father and he's different. He is different. He's established himself. He's got songs on the radio, on the mainstream rock charts. God bless him. But as far as, I guess, appeasing the classic rock world and community, he wants none of that. And that's too bad because I think that would go a long way in making some of the Van Halen fans a little more accepting of Wolfie. I mean, he doesn't have to do this for his whole life. I get it. You don't want to live in your father's shadow. You don't want to sound just like your dad. You don't want to perform just like your dad. Clearly, he can play guitar really well. And it would be cool. Maybe he could show up for one show. He did it for Taylor Hawkins and the Foo Fighters, and he's not going to do it for Sammy Hagar and the memory of his dad in the context of Van Halen. I don't know. Something's not right there. Something's not right there. Anyway, maybe things will change. Maybe next year this will be just like Sammy Hagar's all-star band. Imagine that, kind of like the Ringo thing. And all of these musicians just show up and it's a short tour. So maybe if all the tickets sell out quickly, they'll extend the tour. I'm thinking tickets go on sale soon. So you might want to look that up and see if you can get yourself some tickets. All right, before I go, one more time for this band, Station or Station NYC. This is their album called Stained Glass. If you like Van Halen, these guys are next generation Van Halen. They don't sound exactly like Van Halen. They bring that spirit, that melodic, hard rocking spirit. It's very listenable, though. Okay, so that's what I like about it. Also, folks, thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to help me out via Patreon, I've got great patrons who really step up, and I send thank yous out, as many of them as I can. Sometimes I'm a little slow because I get the messages later on, and I'm really not a social media type of person, and Patreon is kind of another form of social media. I mean, I have to just put the phone down and leave it for a while because every single social media app, there's a notification, answer this, answer that, and I'm a semi kind of public personality, which is weird to think about because I'm just a guy doing videos here. But trying to answer all these things sometimes can take me a long time. And, and I'm still a dad and still a husband. So I've got some other stuff that is very important that I have to do. Anyway, folks, again, thank you, patrons, and thank you to all those who watch the videos. We're trying to stop the revenue apocalypse. If you want to keep seeing videos, if you want to give me $1 or $2 a month, it's helpful. If you can watch the videos, I think that's really important too. Compared to the number of subscribers I have, which is 70, I think I did cross 74,500, which took about a month to do that. On my way to 75,000. Yeah, that will be a big deal. But out of all of those people subscribed, I typically get about 2,000 to 3,000 views per video. And I look at other channels with 30,000 subscribers, and they're getting 80,000 views on a video. So, yeah, I know. It's low production value. It's just me and no fancy editing and so forth. But, things weren't like that like 3 or 4 years ago. They were a little bit different. So, thanks for watching. God bless everyone. Please pray for peace in the Middle East, and I will see you soon.